Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving into a fascinating concept, discovery coding. It's a different approach to software development, and it's got me thinking.
Yeah, I saw the article too. It's a pretty radical idea, isn't it? I mean, most of us are taught to plan everything meticulously before writing a single line of code. This flail-away approach sounds chaotic.
Exactly. The author draws a parallel to fiction writing. Some authors outline meticulously, others just start writing and see where the story takes them. Discovery coding is that just start writing approach to programming. You don't plan, you just dive in and let the code guide you.
But isn't that incredibly inefficient? What about debugging? What about maintainability? It seems like a recipe for a tangled mess of code.
That's a great point. And the author acknowledges that. He emphasizes that the end result doesn't have to be messy. The process is about understanding the problem through the act of coding itself. It's about discovering the solution organically, through the feedback the code provides.
So it's iterative, right? You write some code, see what breaks, adjust, repeat. Kind of like test-driven development, but without the upfront tests?
I see it more as exploratory. TDD is structured, you have specific tests in mind. Discovery coding is more about poking and prodding the system, seeing how it reacts. It's about understanding the constraints of the problem before you even think about a solution.
Interesting. The article mentions that this approach avoids the pitfall of relying on familiar solutions. You're not constrained by your existing knowledge. You're letting the problem dictate the solution.
Precisely. It's a fresh perspective. And the author makes a crucial distinction. Discovery coding isn't the same as bottom-up design, he goes. You can still have a top-down architectural approach, but the understanding of the problem comes from the act of coding, not from pre-planning.
So it's about the process of understanding, not the structure of the final product. But wouldn't this approach be difficult to manage in a team environment? How do you coordinate with others if everyone's just flailing away?
That's a valid concern. The article doesn't explicitly address team dynamics, but I imagine it would require a high level of communication and collaboration. Maybe frequent code reviews, pair programming, or a very agile approach would be essential.
And what about tooling? Does the current software development ecosystem support this style of coding?
That's another great question. The author suggests that live programming environments, like those used by Clojure or Smalltalk programmers, are particularly well suited for discovery coding. Tools that allow for on-the-fly visualization and instrumentation would be incredibly helpful.
So it's not about rejecting planning altogether, but about recognizing that for some people, the act of coding itself is the best way to understand the problem. It's about embracing a different way of thinking.
Exactly. The author's main point is that we should accept discovery coding as a valid approach, alongside traditional outlining methods. Not everyone thinks the same way, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution to software development. It's about finding the process that works best for you.
It's a refreshing perspective. Thanks for bringing this to our attention. It certainly gives me something to think about.
You're welcome. And that's all the time we have for today's Tech Bytes and News. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.